Alright, today I'm going to show you a really fun kids game for kids or adults, family game. This game is called Monster Trap, and it is by Thames and Kosmos. In this game, you are monster catchers, and you are moving this monster token around to capture monsters and then deliver those monsters to the trap, which is in the center of the board like that. So in the beginning of the game, you have to sort of assemble these sliders. They're pretty easy to do. And before you capture any monster, the sliders always have to be in the starting position. What you do in a game is you have however much time is in the sand timer. You flip over a card, and you and your teammate are trying to capture that monster. So there's the monster right there. So essentially what we do is we place the sacked monster on that space, and then myself and a teammate are going to work together to move our sliders to, again, traverse the maze and then put them into the trap. Once we have gotten a monster in the trap, if there's still more time remaining, we flip over another card, again reset our sliders back to the starting position, place the trap onto the monster that it is, and then we again move our sliders to get the monster into the trap. A couple pieces of information. Also, the other thing that you need to do is, before you set up, is you're putting all these monster tokens on the empty spaces. So the monsters will be in different locations every time, so it's not the same thing every time. This game can be played as a 2, 3, or 4-player game. In a 2-player game, each player is controlling their own sliders. So if I'm playing, I'm controlling both sets of sliders at the same time. Also, the sand timer gets flipped over twice. So once it exhausts, then flip it over again, and then you still have that much time to keep going. In a 3 or 4-player game, we have these little, they're called discard piles, essentially. So they form together to make a nice little spot. But in a multiplayer game that's 3 or 4 players, you essentially give one half of your tile over to the next player. That player gives one half of their tile over to that player, and that player gives their half of the tile over to the next player. So what this does is yellow player and red player are going to play on a team, then yellow player and orange player are going to play on a team, and then orange player and red player are going to play on a team. At the end of the game, whichever team has the most cards that they've collected is going to be the best monster catcher team, and then you tally up which combination of teams, basically like the yellow player has 3 cards here, let's say 1 card there, so the yellow player has 4 cards, the orange player has 3 cards and 2 cards, which makes 5 cards, and the red player has 2 cards and 1 card, which makes 3 cards, which means that the orange and yellow team is the best monster catcher team, and then the orange player is the best monster catcher. So that's how you determine who wins. And if it's a tie, you can just share in your victory, or you can count up which team captured the monsters with the most eyeballs, basically. So I also forgot to mention that in a 2-player game, you're only going to play 6 rounds. After every round, you just toss in one of these eyeball chips into the center, which kind of keeps track of your rounds. In a 3 or a 4-player game, you play 12 rounds. So after every round, you're just going to toss one of these eyeball chips in there, and then when you're out of eyeball chips, that's the end of the game. There's a little bit of an advanced variant you can play that makes things a little bit more difficult. There are these location cards, which basically says that when you flip over one of the monsters that you're going to capture, so you put the monster token, the sack token, on the monster, and then before you can put the monster into the trap, you have to go visit this location. So that monster wanted to go and pet the cat before it gets trapped. You might also want to go to the refrigerator or watch some TV, and so all those locations are on the board there, which is a neat, cute little way to kind of make things a little bit more difficult. And that is the whole game. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks.